my stilettos.
Welcome to the Stiletto Room, the unfiltered chat show where no topic is off limits. I'm Dina LaPolte, entertainment attorney, advocate, and tenacious trailblazer. Each week, I sit down with creative visionaries, iconic disruptors, and unapologetic originals to dive deep into work, life, love, LGBTQ plus journeys, social justice, and everything in between. So grab a seat, get comfortable, and let's get real. Because, baby, this is the Stiletto Room. Hey, I'm Dina LaPolte, entertainment attorney, activist, author, an unapologetic advocate representing some of the world's biggest entertainers and boldest entrepreneurs. I've been an advocate for women's rights and social justice since I was a kid, and now I'm leading the only law firm of its stature owned by a sole female attorney, me. I shake up the system with tenacious and passionate deal-making, and I help with historic legislative change. This is the Stiletto Room, where I bring you inside the minds of visionaries, the behind-the-scenes bosses, and the heavy hitters who are reshaping culture. These conversations are raw, real, and loaded with gems you don't want to miss. Today, we are kicking things off with my girl, the absolute legend, Grammy-winning, and two-time Oscar-nominated singer and songwriter, Siedah Garrett.
Yeah, boy!
Girl, and so much more. And I gotta tell you, when I first met you, I don't even know if you remember this, okay? Eric would. I don't know if you would remember this. Michelle Lewis, Kay Hanley, and I just gathered after the Department of Justice was overseeing the consent decrees for performing rights societies, and they came out in the middle of the night and they ruled that there was 100% licensing. And all the streamers didn't have to go to ASCAP and BMI. They could pick one. And we gathered songwriters in my office to talk about what we should do. When we were debating all this and we decided that maybe we should even consider suing the Department of Justice, Michelle said, let's get some more songwriters in a room. I said, great. And then she called me like 2 days later and she goes, we're going to need a bigger room.
Oh, wow.
And I said, how many people do we have? She goes, over 100.
Wow.
I said, you're kidding me. So we called the Recording Academy, and they ended up renting us a huge space that used to be called Ocean Way Recording Studios.
Yeah. Those were the days.
Yes, and I'll never forget. I had all my students from UCLA helping me that day, handing out the flyers, all these things, and helping check everybody in. But I get up on that stage to talk about the consent decrees and everything, and I look in the audience, and they're like these huge songwriters, and right in the front is Siedah motherfucking Garrett. And I remember getting up on that stage, and my hands were shaking.
Girl. Really?
Yes. Do you remember this?
I do not.
This is. Do you remember this? This was Ocean Way Studios, and all the songwriters gathered to talk about the consent decrees.
No, Dina, I'm just kidding. I heard you speak, and I turned to my husband in that moment, and I said, I want her to be my lawyer.
Wow.
And that was it.
I was like, oh my God, that is Siedah Garrett. And and I get up there, they're like, and Dina LaPolte's going to explain to us. And I get up there, and I noticed my hands were shaking.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. And here.
I usually have that effect on men. But there you go.
And lesbians. It's okay.
It's a whole new world. I just, never thought about that.
You never know.
You never do, girl. Life is long.
So you've had an amazing career. I mean,
Is it? Am I
have.
done? Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
but
you.
but starting out and to where you are now and where you're going. Okay, have, are going.
There you go.
Like incredible.
Thank you, Dina. It's been interesting when I compare myself to, and how can you not compare yourself to other members of your family and your peer group? But it's been, I notice now that I've had a lot of focus on what was more impressed in life by things that made me happy than things I had to do. Like I really wanted to find something that made me happy, and I would not mind doing it for the rest of my life. And that's how I discovered singing. I'm the oldest of 2 children from my mom and dad. My sister were 5 and 6 when my parents divorced or separated to divorce. And my mom and my sister were very close, but I was like a loner. Like I was I couldn't wait to get to school to get away from them.
Wow.
And that kind of dynamic in my house. It was like them against me. Wow. And I was more interested in school, and they were never interested in anything having to do with anything right or legal or what should be done as a parent or what could help the child as a parent. We moved every 9 months. From the time I started school to the time I moved out on my 17th birthday and finished my last year of high school on my own. My mother had the system down. She knew that she could pay the first month's rent and the last month's rent. And the landlord would never know that was going to be their first and their last. And she knew it took at least 7 months to have the eviction notice on the door, which she waited for. She waited for that because on the third day, we moved out to somewhere else. And there were no computers where they could check your credit and all, So she would move every 9 months. And we would get, oftentimes, we would get new furniture, washer, dryer, TV, stereo. And she would move in the middle of the night, and they wouldn't know where to find their furniture. My mother was notorious. So I kind of grew up with, she was edgy. She had an edge to her, and I kind of grew up wanting to be the opposite of that edge. And I found music, and it kind of saved me from what would have been, I guess, a horrific 20-something, late teenage years.
Wow.
It would have been, I don't know what I would have done. I would escape through work, and I had temporary jobs because I love singing more than anything. And if I had a job that would hire me from Thursday to Monday, then I wasn't going to work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I was doing the Thursday to Monday job. And that you can only do temporary jobs when you have that. And I remember quitting this job to be in a band or something. And my sister said to me, "Are you crazy? You're quitting a job to be in a band?" She didn't get it.
Wow.
I said, the band is the music. That's what I love. And if I can get paid doing that, that's where I want to be.
Wow.
So they went different directions. And I went with my heart. I led with my heart. I didn't really care about what the statistics were, how many people made it. I was just focused on where I needed to be. And that brings me to writing Man in the Mirror. If I listened to, well, first of all, my publisher, my music publisher at the time, she told me that I told her that Quincy said he was looking for songs to finish off the Bad album. And she said, yeah, well, every songwriter in America is going to be writing for that, so you may as well, And I was like, okay. So Quincy gave me some particulars, and I went to Glenn Ballard, and we wrote this song, and I took the song back, and Quincy loved the song, and then he played for Michael, and Michael loved the song, and the rest is herstory, right? On the next record, the Dangerous album, Michael was looking for another song. So I'm talking to this same publisher, and I said, Michael's looking for another song for this next record. She said, yeah, well, you got on the first record, but there's no way you're going to get 2 songs back-to-back on a Michael Jackson record. Come on. I said, okay.
Who is this bitch?
I don't want to.
I'm just kidding. But okay. No, I'm sorry. But go ahead.
She was my teacher.
Yeah,
She
that's
was my
right.
freaking teacher,
exactly,
dude. She was my
exactly.
teacher. I wanted to do the opposite of what she said. Whatever she said I could not do,
Right.
I set about to do. And I didn't even have to talk to her about it. She saw it. It was all over the world. She saw my activity in action, back to back. Michael Jackson record. What? People will try to discourage you.
Of course.
Child.
That's right.
But we need haters.
We do.
Haters are teachers.
Exactly, because people tell us no, can't be done.
Exactly. Then we go ahead and do it.
That's it.
What?
Right.
It's no until I do it.
Right.
Here is a lesson my mother did teach me. She was an opportunist in a great way. I remember her being the interior decorator for a recording artist named DJ Rogers. And while she was hanging wallpaper in his home, she would say, you know, my daughter's a singer. And he'd say things like, yeah, your daughter, my gardener's nephew, my maid's son, everybody's got somebody who can sing. And my mother was very persistent. So he said, you know what? Bring her over here. And if she can't sing, I don't want to hear nothing else about it. So my mother brought me over to DJ Rogers' house. And he said, come over here. And he moved over a little bit. He was a big man, so he moved over just enough for me to get on the edge of the piano bench. And he played a riff, and he said, sing this. And I sang it. And he looked at me like, oh, okay. And then he played another riff, and he said, sing this. A little more complicated. And I sang it. He then pushed me off the edge of the bench and said, this girl can sing. The next thing I knew, I was in my first recording session with real background singers with a headphone on, and between these two amazing singers, blending my voice with theirs. And it was the first time I've heard true harmonies and me blending my voice to mesh with other voices. It was just like manna from heaven. It was like, oh, this is
Wow.
I had so much fun at that session. And in 3 weeks, I got a check. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. I can do this. I can do this. So it was because of my mother's insistence that DJ Rogers listened to me sing that I got my first recording.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
You are such a light. You are such a light.
Thank you.
Everybody knows you from writing Man in the Mirror for Michael Jackson.
Couple people, yeah.
Couple people, yes, but you've written songs for. I mean, the list is incredible. Diana Ross, Aretha Franklin, Miles Davis, Earth, Wind and Fire, one of my favorites. Jamie Foxx, Anne Hathaway, Common, Ella Fitzgerald, Sheena Easton, Natalie Cole, Donna Summers. Oh my God, Dionne Warwick, Dionne Warwick, Patty Austin, Roberta Flack, Paula Abdul, the Sugar Hill Gang.
Guess I can die now.
Oh my God, Al Jarreau, Barry White. I mean, on and on and on. Sarah Vaughan.
Yeah. That was all through Quincy. Ella and Sarah and Barry, it was all through Quincy Jones's Back on the Block album. That was quite a lesson.
Wow.
Quite a recording experience. Hey, speaking of the word bitch, I got a great story. Quincy would call me into the studio the day before whoever was singing one of my songs or playing on my songs, and I'd go to the studio to hang out. Well, the day before Miles showed up, he didn't say anything about coming to the studio. So when I went the day after, he said, "Where were you yesterday?" I'm like, "You didn't tell me to come." So, he said, "You should have been here, Sid." Miles was blowing his horn in the studio, and he stopped. And he was working on a song called One Man Woman. And Quincy said he stopped, and he said, "Q, who that's singing?" And Quincy said, "Man, that's Siedah." And Quincy said, Miles said, "That's Siedah. Damn, I love that bitch." So when someone calls me a bitch, I think of Miles Davis, beautiful, intelligent, talented, charming human. That's me. I'm that bitch.
Me too. Yes, I love that. My theme song, The Stiletto Room.
Yes.
You wrote this song 10 years ago, right?
My stilettos, yes.
With DK.
Yes.
Yeah, and you own it. You co-wrote it. You both own it.
Bing,
you
bing,
both
bing,
co-wrote
bing, bing.
it.
Yes.
And now it's going to be on the
I'm
Stiletto.
so excited. I don't know. This song is taking on a life of its own.
Yes.
Why did you choose this song?
Because, my first addiction was Charlie's Angels.
Ah.
So back then, when all the lesbians were hairy and overweight, and that's what society told me they were anyway, I always thought I was fucked and I was going to go to hell anyway because I'm going to Catholic church and they're telling me I'm going to hell. So I'm watching the Charlie's Angels kick the shit out of everybody in their stiletto shoes with their beautiful hair and lipstick, and I was like,
That's me.
"This is the Stiletto Room, bitches." So you're knitting. You have a knitting club.
I had a podcast.
Oh, you have.
I had a podcast
That's right.
with and I talked to artists, actors, songwriters, producers whose hobbies their fans didn't really know that they were interested in. So mine is knitting. So I called my podcast The Uppity Knitter because I was at this yarn shop and there was I bought yarn and then I saw a lovely group of ladies sitting in a circle knitting, and I decided to sit and join them as I knitted. And I'm looking around and I look next to me and this woman has this knitting. I said, "Oh, that's really pretty. What is that you're knitting with?" She said, "This is just cotton. What are you knitting with?" I said, "Oh, this is cashmere." She said, "Oh, cashmere. Well, aren't you an uppity knitter?" I said, "What did you call me?" I watched the blood drain from her face as she said, "Knitter." I said, "Knitter." I said, "Knitter."
And now she owns the trademark.
Uppity knitter. Aren't you? Yes, bitch, I'm an uppity knitter. What? Yes. Yes.
Fucking sucky.
I'm thinking, bitch, what did you just say?
Shit.
When she heard how it sounded to me, then she
Oh my God.
she turned a pale
Oh God, that's
pale
funny.
white. I don't know if there is such a thing, but that bitch was ghostly white at the end of that. Bless her heart.
Oh shit! Bless her heart.
Bless her
I
heart.
learned about what that meant with a fainting. She'd go. I'd be down South Sea.
That means fuck that bitch.
So I'm. What I do. It flew off when I was laughing.
Is that your earring?
No, it's my fucking ring.
Oh, your rings.
So anyway, I'm down in Lumberton, North Carolina, because she had a farm down there, and I had my own room. She built this fucking house.
Oh.
So anyway, we used to go to this buffet place where Heather Locklear's family started this town, because Heather Locklear's a Lumbee Indian. And there's all Lumbee Indians there. So we used to go in Lumberton, North Carolina. So this one lady's like, "How do I get to this road?" And Afeni's like, "Well, you go down here, you take a left." She's like, No. That's not the road I'm getting to. I want to get to this road here. And Afeni goes, "It's down the road, you take a left." And her sister goes, "Are you hearing what road she wants to go to?"
Oh, my
and Afeni
God.
said, "Bless your heart." And the woman said, and I go, "God, you were so nice to her." She goes, "Girl, bless your heart means fuck off." So I'm like,
Bless your heart. Yes.
I'm like on the red carpet. "Oh, bless your heart."
I have an English friend that goes, "Bless, bless her, bless." Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this was so fun.
Thank you,
This
Dina.
is going to be a great first episode. How old were you when you started singing?
I was a kid because my mother realized that I could sing, and she would sort of prop me up at these different churches where people would say, "Oh my God, your daughter can really sing. Your daughter's so my daughter." And my mother just loved the attention. So, and her father was a Baptist minister, so we would visit different churches, and she would just throw me up there to sing a song, right? But this voice, this thing I had was something my sister didn't have. And it's something that made my mother pay a little bit of attention to me. And so I allowed her to just prop me up at these different churches. And my mother she had many, 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 many jobs. One of her jobs was she called herself the lady wallpaper hanger. So she hung wallpaper in the duplex of this little apartment near Crenshaw, Washington, a little duplex. And the old landlord, an older black woman, I love her. I forgot her name. But anyway, she couldn't pay my mother. So my mother said, I couldn't wait to get out of the house. I was 16 years old. And my mother said to this woman, if you can't pay me, then maybe you can rent me this duplex for a year at $100 a month, and the first 6 months are free, and then you don't owe me whatever it was. They made a deal for me to live in that place. I lived in that duplex for 9.5 years.
Wow.
And one day I called my mother. I said, Mommy, why were we moving all the time? I've lived in this place for 9.5 years. I've never had my gas turned off. I never had my lights turned off. I never had the landlord knock on my door. I've never had any bill collectors. I said, why? She said, girl, we were being evicted. You didn't know that?
Wow.
And then she just cracked up. She thought it was the funniest thing. Anyway, I live my life doing the opposite of what my mother...
These are lessons.
Yes.
Lessons. So when you first started writing music,
yes,
how did that happen?
Well, I remember getting a phone call from the boyfriend of the girl I was in a band with.
Okay.
She knew about these Quincy Jones auditions.
Oh.
But she wasn't going to tell me.
She wasn't?
No.
How old were you?
26 or 7, something like that.
Wow.
So her boyfriend knew that I was a singer. So her boyfriend called me.
And told you.
Yes. I said, really? Quincy's, he's looking for singers. You should go. I said, okay, when is it? He said, tomorrow. I said, what time? He said, I don't know. So I showed up at the address at 7 a.m. There were 2 people in front of me who I now know were a duo. So I was literally the second person, or the second audition in line. And by the time the actual event opened to the public, which was noon, the line was all the way around the block down Santa Monica Boulevard. And Quincy told me years later that over 800 people showed up to audition for this group Quincy was putting together, Manhattan Transfer, or he really wanted Take 6, but they hadn't been discovered yet, or The Fifth Dimension. He wanted a vocal group of men and women together, or so he was looking for soloists to put together and groups that he could audition. Once you got inside the building, there were 2 very long picnic tables with clipboards one day of the week, Monday through Friday, and 8 to 10 or like hours of the day separated into half-hour intervals. You go to that day, you sign into the time you want to audition, and then you go home and come back the next whatever day it was. I decided, I'm here today.
Wow.
I'm not going to be any more ready on Thursday than I am today. I'm doing it today.
Wow.
And Quincy and Tom Baylor, amazing singer-songwriter, said that I kind of set the bar because everyone after me had to be better than me or as good as me. And when he told me that, I was like, I'm glad he didn't tell me that initially. But it took, this is the crazy part. Once I auditioned, a month later, I got this letter. Congratulations, you're one of 500 people on the Quincy. And I'm like, oh, great. And then for 9 months, I would get these letters. I wish I'd saved these letters.
Wow.
I would get these letters. 250, you're still in the running. 100.
Wow.
75, 50, 25.
Wow.
15, 10, 5, 4. Me and 3 dudes. So this became Quincy's group du jour, which were called Deco. And with this group deal, after 9 months, I was waiting, and kept getting these letters. Meanwhile, I'm in my driveway washing my car, and I have 1580 KD on the radio, and Sergio Mendes is in the studio talking about his brand new record, and the DJ says, hey, if you want to talk to Sergio Mendes, call 555-1580 KD. So I ran in the house, leaving soap on my car, the water hose running. I ran in the house, and I began to dial the radio station. Of course, busy. Ring, 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 ring. Hello, 1580 KD. Hello? Is Sergio looking for any singers? I don't even know where that thought came from. And the DJ said, I don't know. Why don't you ask him? He put Sergio Mendes on the phone. And Sergio talked to me for a minute. Look, do you have any recorded music out? I did have a record out, and I knew there were 2 albums. I knew my mama had one, and I knew my grandmama had one.
Wow.
So I went to get my mother's record, and I took it to Sergio Mendes' house. And his wife, Gracinia, graciously opened the door. She introduced herself, took my record, and took it upstairs, and she went to collect Sergio. Sergio comes cascading down this winding staircase like Rhett Butler with a straw hat, his Bahama T-shirt, a big fat cigar, and shorts and sandals. And so we go into his dining room, and he takes this record from me, and he drops the needle, picks it up, drops the needle, picks it up. He said, oh, okay. He gave me, his wife gave me a cassette with 5 songs I had to learn in 3 days, or 3 songs in 5 days, one of the two. 5 songs in 3 days in Portuguese.
Whoa.
So let me tell you, a bitch was singing Portuguese by the time by the time that audition happened.
Wow.
And the guy who was his MD, a brilliant jazz pianist named John Beasley, was the auditioner, and I had to pass John's approval before I could get to Sergio. So once John was like, yeah, she's really good, I started to do these little road trips with Sergio Mendes. And Sergio had me fooled, child. I thought touring was getting in the jet plane and flying to the Bahamas and then flying back a few days later and, doing the gig. And no. But those are the kind of gigs that I was having with Sergio. So he said, you know what, Siedah, I want to offer you, I know, you're waiting for this Quincy group thing, but I can offer you a solo deal at A&M. I got right on the phone to Quincy. Mr. Jones, I know we're still waiting to be in this group, but I got this solo deal with Sergio Mendes. And Quincy said one thing, and I'll never forget. He said, really? When's the last time Sergio had a hit? And that was it.
Wow.
Cold piece. Anyway, so
wow.
Let me just say, because of that, I got the contract in a couple of days. So sign that. But with this contract, here's the caveat. This is how I became a songwriter. This was both an artist and a songwriting deal.
Okay, got it.
Together. I didn't know I couldn't pick one or the other, but I wrote poems. I'd never written a song, and there was let's say I had to write 10 songs in a year, and Quincy only counted a song, something he owned 100% of. So I was never 100% songwriter. I co-wrote everything. So if they had to write 10 songs, that means I had to write at least 20. And don't let 3 people be in the room. That's a third. So I just didn't want that pressure for a skill that I had yet to acquire. I just didn't want it. So I didn't sign that part.
Okay, wow.
So I don't know where I was, but the boys went to Quincy's office with their contracts. And Quincy sort of shoveled the papers on his desk. This is what they told me. And he said, where's Siedah's contract? They were like, oh, she doesn't want a songwriter deal. She just wants the artist. Quincy shoved the papers back towards them. He said, you either all get a deal or nobody gets a deal.
Wow.
Now, when 3 large black men knock on your door and tell you to sign, a bitch tends to sign. So that's exactly what I did.
That's hilarious.
And
wow.
for the next year, I set about the business of learning the craft of songwriting. Now, I was very lucky because at those Quincy Jones auditions were songwriters like Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil, who wrote Through the Fire. It was Dennis Lambert and Franny Goldie, who wrote Don't Look Any Further. It was all these people that I met through those auditions. I started doing everybody's demos because Quincy was working on Patty Austin's album. And there were a lot of songwriters wanting to get a song to Quincy's ears, and they knew he was listening to me because I was singing these demos. And that's also another reason why I was on his brain, because every song that came in, I was singing the demo for. It was crazy. So I've lost my...
Yeah, so you started writing because you were signed to this publishing
Yes,
deal
and
now.
I was singing all these great demos with all these brilliant songwriters, Dennis Lambert and Glenn Ballard and Burt Bacharach. I was singing all these songs, and I learned the different producers would begin a song a different way. You could start a song with an intro. You could start the song with a chorus. You can start the song with just a beat. And all these things, as far as musical arrangement, I had no idea. But I learned in the doing from these very...
That's incredible.
Yes, from these very amazing, professional, successful producer-songwriters.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the first song you remember writing?
It was a song called Best Boyfriend, and I came across the lyric the other day. It is so fucking corny. It's so bad. And my second publisher, bless her heart, she said, I think you can do better. And she was right, but I was crushed because I was like, I wrote this song, and Quincy taught me a great lesson also. He said I was very precious about my initial lyrics, and this is how it came out, and so that's the way it's got to be. No. Quincy said something that shut that shit down immediately. He said, Sid, the best songwriters are rewriters.
Wow.
That was a big lesson for me.
You learned a lot of lessons from him.
It's true. That every day I remember some shit he said or that he, told me about.
Yeah, incredible.
It's amazing how much you miss people when you know they're not here for you to miss.
Right. And how is it, both Michael and Quincy are gone.
Yeah. Michael, Quincy, Bruce Sweeting, the engineer from The Gods. Rod Temperton, songwriter extraordinaire.
I loved Rod Templeton. I met him once in Cannes. Jay Cooper's. No. It was
Yes.
Yeah, Jay Cooper is his lawyer.
Yeah, it was. He was. Yes.
Jay introduced me to him. This is Rod Templeton. I go, what?
Temperton.
Yeah, Temperton. He goes, this is Rod Temperton. I go, what?
Yep.
Yeah.
His wife and I are dear friends. In fact, when I was just in Montreux doing this thing with Shaka, we then took a road trip to Milan.
Oh.
And spent a few days there. Girl, so much fun. The designer outlets in Milan, child.
I know. I know.
I'm glad I don't live close.
Yeah. No, me too. I'd be in bankruptcy.
Oh, please. But you'd be well dressed, darling.
Oh, girl, we are well dressed. What are you talking about? Did you look in the mirror? I'm looking at the woman in the mirror. Oh, my God. So, you just played the Montreux Jazz Festival again with Shaka Khan.
Yeah.
And you used to play it all the
30 years
time.
in between. That's a long leap.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
30 years ago you played it.
Yes.
Do you know, 30 years ago I was in a lipstick lesbian band.
Called what?
Girl, I was. I was in law school.
What was the name of the band?
Irresistible Impulse. And let me tell you something.
And was it?
Yeah, okay. I was in criminal law, and that is a defense. Someone uses an irresistible impulse as an insanity defense when they didn't really realize what was happening. I was like, that's a great band name.
Oh, my God.
But
that's a
we
good song
were in.
name,
I was in
too.
law school, and my study partner says, let's go hear the Indigo Girls tonight. I've got tickets at the Concord Pavilion. I go, who are the Indigo Girls? She's like, what? This is the 90s. Mid-90s. She goes, you don't know who the Indigo Girls are? Are you gay or what?
Not enough.
I go, guess not. So we went to the Indigo Girls, and literally I walk into like 20,000 of the most manliest women in the planet, but this music from heaven. But I had an epiphany. I said, I'm going to start a lipstick lesbian band. I don't care if these girls can't play or not. But anyway.
Were you the singer?
Yes.
I love it.
And we did. And we started this band, and we had a residency at a gay club right next to my law school for 3.5 years.
Oh, wow.
And during the summer, we played all the gay pride parades.
Did you not have fun?
It was great. And I used the stage as I was an activist.
Wow.
For gay rights and social justice.
I love it.
Yeah.
You
30
go,
years
girl.
ago.
I love it. For
Yeah.
your time. You was for your time.
And here you're playing the Montreux Jazz Festival back then. I told you, I'm a real fan.
Thank
you know, growing up on R&B, my mom, I mean, she, incredible. Luther Vandross and Nina Simone and, you know, all the, she would call them the outliers, the people that society, Karen Carpenter.
Yes.
They didn't like her because she played the drums. She played the drums. So
There's something online, I'm sorry for interrupting, right now with Karen Carpenter duetting with,
Who?
My mind is drawn a blank. The silkiest voice in jazz.
who?
Old black, Eric Help, old black session singer. No, did all the blues with Ray Charles and I see your face. This is killing me. This is what I hate about MS.
Yeah.
This is what I hate. Ella Fitzgerald. I knew it would come. It just takes a week sometimes.
Ella Fitzgerald and Karen
And
Carpenter.
Karen Carpenter. You should Instagram that. It's the most
Hello.
incredible thing you've seen.
I'm
They're doing a medley of songs you would never have put them
And
together.
someone put them together. That's
No, they're doing it together.
They
Ed
are?
Sullivan or something. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yes.
I got to hear that. Wow.
I was very impressed. She was amazing. You know what?
She was
I did a
amazing.
session once after her passing with her brother, Richard.
Oh, yeah.
And she had sung these vocals, but they weren't very strong. And he knew that I was a blender. I'm a very good blender. So I was in a recording session boosting up her vocals with my voice.
Wow. You know, it's crazy. It's like, you know, how she never felt good enough, you know,
Right.
and how they used to every time, like,
Was she gay? I didn't.
I don't know. I don't think she was gay, but playing the drums, and every time, like, they were on TV, they tried to talk her out of being the drum player. Like Ed Sullivan and
Wow.
all those shows, they really were like, yeah.
They just wanted her to be a little lady.
Yes,
Just be a
because
little-
girls don't play the drums. Yeah,
Tell that to Sheila E.
right, exactly. Crazy. When were you diagnosed with MS?
10 years ago.
How was that? Tell me how that happened.
Ooh, that was a fateful day. I had a week or so before just taken a trip to Shanghai and spent 10 and a half hours in a seat just knitting. I was obsessed. So I didn't move. I didn't move my legs and I had on tight jeans. So I figured the reason why my foot was going numb and I was losing the sensation in my foot, and then when I went upstairs, this foot would trip, and I was like, something's not quite right. And then my legs started getting really numb, and the drop foot started getting really bad. And I talked to before that, I had I would have these dinners, these food club dinners with these. I happened to have dinner with a neurologist and a psychologist. And I said, you know, guys, sometimes when I wake up, my fingers are really tingly and numb, and sometimes my foot is. And to them, it was like a light went off, and they were like,
Wow.
"Oh," but they were very cool. They said, "Let me. Why don't you come into my office on Monday, and we'll see what's going on." So I went into the neurologist's office, and he did one test, and he said, "Let me send you to a specialist." So he sent me to his friend who's a specialist. He said, "Let me do a spinal tap." So they took a spinal tap and found out that I had 3 of the 5 markers for multiple sclerosis. So on that day, the only thing I could think about was Richard Pryor, and there was a beautiful comedian who was on David Letterman all the time, blonde, I forget her name, but I saw her at some event, and she tripped down a short flight of stairs, and I realize now, she came out later that she had MS. All I saw was me being crippled to the point where people would feel sorry for me and not want to hire me because they don't want to be around somebody who's not physically fit. I just felt I didn't want anybody to know if they didn't have to know.
So when you were on that flight, was this after all those tests?
No, I didn't know what was going on.
You didn't know what was going on. And then it was after you got home, you had this dinner.
Yeah, and then the hands started going. And then my friends were like, they're smart. They didn't say, really? I think you might have. They didn't do that. They just sent me from this specialist to that one, who, when they had a definitive answer, I got the answer.
Wow. So is that something that runs in the family?
No.
No.
No, ma'am.
How do people get that?
If they knew, they might have a cure for it.
Yeah, well,
it's
you
an
do a lot.
incurable disease.
You do a lot of fundraising for
it's a way.
MS.
It's the only way I get back. I don't have no money, so I mean, I can't fund research, but I can perform and raise money for the effort.
And I know you did a performance a couple years ago for, what was it, the MS? It was
Race to Erase MS.
That's right.
Yes.
Race
I'm
to
there
Erase.
almost every year.
Yeah.
Nancy Davis is just a powerful soldier in this arena, and I'll follow her anywhere. In fact, I told her, I said, Nancy, and you jump. You tell me to jump, rather, and I say how high. But with you tell me to jump, and I'm like, who you want me to jump, Dina? Who you want me to jump?
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing that you're involved with that organization. How'd you get connected to Nancy?
I happened to be at a dinner at Quincy Jones's house. I spent 30 years, Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners at Quincy's house, and you never knew who was going to show up. And one time, Brenda Ritchie brought her friend, Nancy Davis, and they were sitting at a table, and when I thought I had a moment with Nancy out of everyone's earshot, I heard her talk about MS. And I'd just recently been diagnosed, so this was all new for me.
Wow.
Maybe I'd have the diagnosis for like 3 or 4 years. So I went over to her and I said, no one knows this yet, but I've been recently diagnosed with MS. And then Brenda Ritchie said, what? Brenda Ritchie's like, what? You got what? What'd you say? I'm like, Brenda, shut up. So I started talking to Nancy, and she invited me to the event, and then she asked me to write a song for the event, and then she asked me to sing at her son's funeral, and and then I've been kind of doing the event with and for her every year that I can for several years, and will continue to do.
Yeah.
She raises a shit ton of money, that woman.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is just interesting. It's about, like, all these things that happen to us, and how we have to pivot and deal with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yoga of the mind, body, and soul.
That's it. Pivot. So for you, emotionally, when you found that out, how was that?
I was a hot-ass mess. I was like, this can't be my life. This cannot be my life. I remember going to, I needed to get something because my foot was hanging and I couldn't walk. So I went to this guy that does prosthetics.
Yep.
And he said, this happens. You could have this for, a week or two, or you could have it for the rest of your life, he said with his cane. And I was like, oh, this can't be my life. I just remember crying in the shower saying, no. I didn't know how I was going to fix it or change it, but I was like, this is not happening. I cannot do this. And I just gotten together with my husband, and now I have MS, and now he's going to be like taking care of me and wheeling me around for. No, I could not. I could not. And I just got on this medication initially that was really good for me, and I took 1 pill a day. And if I didn't have to take that 1 pill a day, I wouldn't know I was sick at all. I had 0 symptoms. But it gave me high blood pressure. So then I started taking that and the high blood pressure medication. And then my doctor said, you've been on this one particular medication for 8 years. There are newer medications that you might do. So then he got me on these shots, which I hated because you can only get it once a month. But by week 2, 2.5, my symptoms were like flaring.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. So I called this man. And I said, Doc, this injection thing is not working for me because my symptoms are coming back hard and it's not even lasting a month. instead of saying, okay, let's find something that works for you, he said, and I quote, you know, most of my clients stay on this for a year. That's when I knew he must have something in with the company that's making the medication. Because I said, I am not doing this for a year.
Yeah, fuck
Bye,
you,
doctor.
dude.
Bye, doctor.
Right, exactly. So did you get back on the pills?
Hell no. I'm on something else.
Okay.
I met the head of UCLA medicine for MS research.
Yeah. Wow.
Through Nancy Davis.
Oh yes, you did.
So I started going to her. Like, forget this doctor who's trying to put me on what she's like head of the whole.
She's doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's
walking the walk and talking
the
the
talk.
talk.
That's right. That's right.
So do you have any symptoms at all now?
I do. Constant tingling and numbness in my fingers.
Constant.
Yeah.
Constant.
But it's better than not being able to walk.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Wow. So, how is that for your songwriting?
It's sometimes like when things are happening, like it's like flaring right now because it's so much energy, and I'm not at home chilling. I'm like on, So when there's a lot going on and my nerves get excited, I start to develop more symptoms. But normally it's just a little tingling on my fingertips and a little bit of numbness, which is considering.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you know what it is. When we know what the problem is, we could treat the problem emotionally, physically, and mentally.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
And all the things that you've been involved in your life and all these hurdles that you've overcome and everything that you got where you are, like, come on. This is amazing. I
feel really blessed that I've made some of the better decisions in my life, especially compared to other members of my family. I've seen them make just mistakes that they thought it was going to get them one up quicker, but it always backfires. And then they're mad at me because I'm like following my dream. I'm doing my thing.
You followed your passion.
I did.
It was really, really inspirational.
Thank you.
You followed your passion.
Everyone should.
I know. I try to tell everybody that in this book I wrote, Street Smart, coming out October 6th.
When's it coming out?
October 6th, Succeeding in a Man's World. And you know what it is? It's all the things all the times people told me no.
There
and
you
how
go.
I overcome them.
There you go.
That's what the book is. So it's all my stories, interweaved in this. Like you said, teachers. So every time I had a perceived failure, I look back at it, and my God, was that amazing.
Learning lesson.
I learned this thing.
Yes.
I learned here. I learned there. I was interning for this lawyer in Century City, and I was waiting tables as I was a licensed lawyer, but I couldn't find a job because I was a musician. I didn't have any law school experience.
You were in a band.
Nobody told me back then, hey, go intern for a law firm. You know what I mean? So, I was teaching guitar lessons to kids and was in a lipstick lesbian band. So when I passed the bar, I didn't have any opportunities to go work at a law firm. So, and of course, I was gay. I was a woman. I have tattoos. Who's going to want me to be a lawyer at their big-ass, white-ass law firm, right? So what happens is I was waiting tables at night, but through interning for free at this law firm, and what I did is got his mail, opened his mail, categorized his mail. This is way before the internet. Got his lunch, blew up his kid's basketball, but through
You were the Girl Friday.
That's what I did as a lawyer. And then I waited tables at Basics Cafe, support myself Thursday, Friday, and Sunday brunch. But at that internship, who did I meet? Afeni Shakur. And that changed my life.
Wow.
Now, Tupac died when I was in law school, and I wasn't a big fan of Tupac. I knew who he was, but I didn't listen to Tupac, but I knew who Afeni Shakur was because of my mother.
Yes. Wow.
Because I was at that internship for free.
That's great. You were right where you were supposed to be.
Where God has a plan. Everything, if it's meant for you, you can't run from it. You can't hide.
Okay.
Right. And I always say to people, if God wants it to happen, it's going to happen. But if it's not meant to be,
It won't.
it's not going to happen. So stop trying to shove a square peg in a round hole. You know?
Teach.
Like trying to shove deals together. People trying to put deals together that are not going to work or that don't feel right in your gut.
Right.
You know?
I'm glad you have lived your life just going with your gut, and that's the most success that you have. You just go with what you're feeling internally.
My instincts.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
and
always right.
It pisses people off.
So be it.
Well, that doesn't fit into paragraph ABC21, and it's the box. I was like, I don't care. This is not right. I don't feel right. I'm going to tell you why. I don't know. I can't say why, but I'm just telling you.
Right.
Yeah. But it hasn't failed me yet. You know?
Get it.
But I think as women, like, we have to follow our gut because we don't have a lot of opportunities.
True.
Yeah, and especially a woman of color. Like, how many opportunities were available to you growing up?
How many did I miss that I didn't know about because I'm
you.
a black woman?
That's it. That's the point.
How many was I not even considered for because I'm a black woman?
I know how many I missed, and I'm a white woman, but I'm a woman, okay?
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, when I was in high school, I vividly remember, them putting jobs on the blackboard for men, president, mayor, police officer, and the women's jobs, teacher, whatever, nail salon.
Housewife, mother.
Nail technician. I mean, I remember this. And they called my mother to say, well, she's dyslexic. I think for high school, this is before, in middle school, they said, we think she should go to BOCES, which was the technical school in my town for cosmetology and mechanics and all these things. My mother says, well, she loves the music teacher. And she has friends, so figure out how you're going to teach her. Click. You know?
Smart woman.
Yeah, thank God for my mother. I would have been shit. Could you imagine me doing your hair or your nails? It'd be tragic.
Not on purpose. No. Not on purpose.
Yeah. One of my favorite people in the planet, that I always say, I wish you were on every single one of my clients, is your husband, Eric Nuri.
Yes.
How did you meet this amazing man?
Well, Michael Jackson died on a Thursday. And that Sunday, there's a spiritual center called Agape. And Eric is a member of that spiritual center. And I've been there a few times, but I wouldn't say I go to church regularly. But the choir director called me and said, the choir, we've been rehearsing Man in the Mirror, and we want to sing it as a tribute to Michael on Sunday. Would you come and sing Man in the Mirror? I said, okay. I'm thinking church service on Sunday, 11 o'clock. I can do that. What I did not know was church service then for Agape was a 7 a.m. service, a 9 a.m. service, and an 11 a.m. service, all three of which I agreed to unbeknownst to me.
7 a.m., not your funniest
Baby, who's singing at 7 a.m.? I don't know that person. So I do these I almost said shows, but I do these programs, and I did the first one, I did the second one. Eric came to the second one and the third one. And in between, I was signing autographs and selling CDs. Eric didn't get anything signed, and Eric didn't buy shit. So I didn't remember even having met him. But I must have given him my card because he began calling me.
Wow.
And calling me. And so I finally, I answered the call, and he said, I want to talk to you about a manager. You need management because you need to be writing with, people that are on the Billboard charts right now and producers that are looking for songwriters. I said, I don't need a manager. I've had a couple of managers. I don't need a manager. I said, let's break this word down. Manager, manager. No, thank you. I don't need no man aging me up in here. No. Okay?
Drop the mic, bam!
But Eric is one of the most persistent men I've ever met. So he kept, he was very persistent. And so finally I said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 90 days. And in that 90-day period, if I'm doing all this that you say, I'm writing with this one and that one, then we can work together. That happened, and I was. So after 90 days, he went to his boss, who is who managed producers like Red One, who had just discovered Lady Gaga. So he was busy. So this guy managed songwriters, and Eric was one of the managers that he was that he had hired. So Eric said to him, "I have this songwriter, Siedah Garrett. She wrote blah blah blah. I want to sign a deal." And he was like, "No." I think there was something about me being old and, not of the moment.
Wow.
Eric came back to me and said, "No, my boss is not. He's not happy, but I can give you this contract." He came for some reason. He came back with a very remedial beginner's contract, and I was so insulted that I didn't want to spend the money to bring it center. So I invited Eric out to eat, and I fired him. And the next day, he came to my house with a bouquet of flowers, and he's like, "Well, now can we go out on a date?" Because I wasn't about to mix. I don't shit where I eat. I wasn't about to mix business with pleasure, right? So Eric said that there was always this thing. There must have been some kind of energy, some kind of connection back and forth. But anyway, long story short, he came to my house with the flowers, and we've been connected at the hip ever since. So he went to his boss. He said, "There's no way that I'm not going to be. We're in a relationship now. There's no way I'm not going to be helping her, and I don't want to be taking a paycheck from you and helping someone that's not your client." So I quit. And like 3 or 4 days later, we were on a plane to go to Korea with Quincy and Japan, and so we were off. And we've been.
I haven't looked back since.
Not even.
No.
Not even. He's really good. We mesh well together. And I knew that when in those 90 days when we were doing things together. It was just easy. Easy.
Yeah, is your sign, what's your sign again?
Cancer.
And he is a...
Cancer.
Wow, you guys.
From
Crazy.
one end to the other end.
Yeah. I know his daughter, Erica.
Yes, Erica Marie Taylor.
Yeah.
Y'all.
She was in the room, that songwriter thing when my hands were shaking. Yeah. Also a huge songwriter.
She is.
Yeah.
She is.
Amazing.
She's an amazing realtor now. Oh my
yeah.
God.
She's happy.
Killing it. Killing it.
Yeah, she's happy.
Yeah.
If you had, one thing I want to talk about is your other passions before we end. I want to talk about your other passions because people don't, they all know you as a songwriter, as a singer, you're doing Broadway. There's so much you're doing, but you also love to knit.
I do.
You have these there's another thing you love that people won't realize that you love, which is sushi.
Yeah.
You love to knit and you love sushi.
I love good sushi.
You love good sushi.
Yes, there's a difference.
There is a difference.
Yes, I love good sushi.
You educated me on this.
Yeah, I was in this club, this food club. I met this woman. I used to go to this. There was a restaurant, an amazing restaurant at the Santa Monica Airport at the top. I forgot what it was called. Anyway, they used to do some amazing things, but they also did some very illegal things. But anyway, I met this woman, and there was a chef. She was dating the chef, but I didn't know that. We were in line. There were 2 people in front of me, her and a guy, and I was third. And there was an L-shaped sushi bar. So I sat here, and they sat on the side. And the chef started serving them some, amazing things. And I was getting the equivalent of a sushi tuna roll and a crab roll. I said to the chef in my limited Japanese, "Sumimasen, hi." He said, "Hi." I said, "Are we all having omakase?" He said, "Hi, everybody omakase." I said, "Then I'll have what they're having." When I did that, they looked down the bar like, "Who the hell?" Right? So I started eating what they were eating, and the girl said to me, The guy said, "I've seen you at this sushi bar, and I've seen you at that sushi bar." And then the girl said, "Where else do you go?" And so I named a couple of places that they'd never been. I said, "Where else do you go?" They named a couple of places that I've never been, and she said something that changed our lives. She said, let's go together.
Wow.
We started what we now call the AFC, the Asian Food Club.
Wow.
And we have just celebrated 27 years
That's
of dining.
incredible.
We have dined with chefs from Matsuhisa and chefs from all over Los Angeles to Japan to be impressed by other Japanese chefs who knew that this chef came from Matsuhisa and this chef came from that. So we ate like kings and queens because we traveled with chefs who were famous enough to be famous in Japan.
That's incredible.
It was just an experience like I've never had. I mean, I have eaten shit that was still alive at the end of my chopsticks.
Oh, girl. Oh, no.
I couldn't be the odd man out. I couldn't be the lone black girl at the Japanese table. I'm sorry. I had to do what the 9-year-old Japanese girl did, and that's exactly what I did.
That's crazy.
Yes.
What a story. 27 years, 98.
Yeah, man.
Class of 98. That's when I got sober.
Oh, wow. See, it was a good year.
It was a great year,
for
magical,
shit.
great year for shit. And then also the knitting. How'd you get involved in the knitting?
Oh.
You love the knitting.
Yeah, I've been knitting and crocheting since I was in the 3rd grade. And there was, since I went to different schools, it didn't behoove me to formulate any relationships because I knew I wasn't going to be here. So no sense of me befriending this girl in school or that one. So I was a loner. And I remember being at Wilshire Crest Elementary School out at lunchtime. There was a woman sitting on the bench crocheting, and she was supposed to be the guard watching all the students on the playground. But she had elephantitis. So her legs were so large, she just sat on the bench and she crocheted. So I sat next to her and I would just watch her crochet, and she taught me how to crochet.
Wow.
And there was another girl named Jackie Ward. Bless her heart, I haven't said her name in 30, 40 years. Jackie Ward was a knitter. And Jackie taught me how to knit on her knitting needles. And I went home, and my mother wasn't buying me no yarn and knitting needles. But girl, get the hell out of here. So,
Girl, fucking rings were popping.
girl, please. So I knew she wasn't going to buy me shit. So I fashioned a pair of knitting needles out of the long end of a triangular wire hanger. I would just bend it back and forth until it broke. And then bend it back and back until I had 2 crude knitting needles, and I had an acrylic sweater that I began to take apart and roll into a ball, right?
Wow.
So I started knitting like this, and my mother just completely ignored whatever you're doing, whatever. So my mother had a friend over who saw that I was knitting with these hanger needles, and she was impressed. My mother was embarrassed. Next thing I know, she comes back to the bedroom after she'd been out or whatever, and she had these knitting needles and some yarn, and she threw them on the bed like, here. I got that because I embarrassed her with my creativity since she didn't want to buy me a pair of knitting needles. I'm like, all right, bitch, I'll make my own. I'm still going to knit. So that's what started it. And I've been knitting ever since, seriously knitting for the last 20 something years.
What's your company? We trademarked the name. Your uppity.
Oh, the uppity knitter. Yes. The uppity girl. I have a great story. I had a podcast last year. Great story. I remember being a patron of this knit shop in Santa Monica. Very white, very West Side, very upper crust. So they knew that I was on tour because I'd been gone for a year, and I'd come back and get yarn and go back out. So I came back to get some yarn. And so the owner had some of her friends in, and she said to me, and I will never forget this, she said, so, what's going on? What's happening, Buckwheato? Like, what's going on?
Buckwheato?
Buck fucking Wheato.
That's what she said?
What's going on, you little shit? What's happening, Buckwheato? And I was so crushed.
Oh, my God.
I said, can we step outside? Because I didn't want to beat this bitch's ass in her store in front of it. So I was so angry. But when I stepped outside, the only thing I could do, I was so mad that I was crying, and I was so mad that she saw me crying. I said, I will never, quote unquote, darken your doorstep again. I said, what you just did was foul and mean. She said, "Oh, Siedah, I say that to all my friends. I said, I doubt you call your white friends buck fucking Weedo. I doubt it."
What'd she say?
Nothing, because I walked, I left.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the unmitigated gall of her.
Yeah, and the problem is that she doesn't even know why it was wrong.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
She did that shit
really?
on purpose.
She did it on purpose.
If she was trying to impress her friends, this is the girl from on tour with Michael. What's happening,
that's
you little
even
shit?
fucking worse.
Yeah, she was horrible.
That's worse.
She was horrible. Anyway, she lost her shop. Whatever.
She did?
Yeah.
Well, see, this is the other thing with karma.
It's
You
a
know,
bitch.
we don't
And then
have
she
to-
has puppies.
We do not have to hold on to resentments because God does it.
Ain't nobody got time for
Yeah.
that. That's my granny used to
You
say.
keep it moving. Like Michelle Obama says, they go low, we go high.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I used to go, they go low, I'm going to hell.
Well,
That's what
Jason Lee says, you know what? He was on the podcast. He says, when they say we go low, and I say we go to hell. It's so funny. Yeah. Hey, if you could have dinner with one person in the world,
That's still alive?
alive or dead, who would you have dinner with?
Buddha. I don't know.
Buddha's a good one.
I don't know.
Oh my God. So the next trajectory, because you're so busy, like you literally are always doing something. And the newest thing you've been doing, which is pretty incredible, is Broadway.
Yes, I've sort of been transitioned out of the pop music scene because I'm not the kind of songwriter that pop artists are. I don't write the kind of songs that they are recording today. And there's so much political nonsense that goes on with getting a song through, not even getting the song to the artist, getting it past all these blockers.
Right.
It's too
Managers
stressful.
and publishers. And
A&R guys, they're the
know.
worst.
I know.
Always have been. Anyway, so I just found myself being stopped at every turn. I have a good song and it's still on his desk, and I think the guy from Mr. had the best example of what this business has become. He turned in an album. He played it. He gave it to his A&R guy. 2 days later, he called the A&R guy and said, "Hey, so what do you think about the record?" The A&R guy said, "I don't know. I haven't played it for anyone yet." And that's the mentality that I found that myself dealing with, where as I slowly transitioned into this Broadway thing, which I am discovering is a beautiful thing. Because as a songwriter, when you write for Broadway, when you write a song for a scene, your song is in that scene unless the scene is dropped. But then it's still your song. That's not the same with pop music and the record companies.
Interesting. Wow.
So I'm happy that when I write a song, the song has a home where it's supposed to be, and the song moves the story along. I feel really grateful being able to tell stories with my music, with my lyrics through theater. It's just, and it's been so welcoming, and it's an arena where there aren't many of me. I don't know why there are not more black females writing for black female roles. There are a lot of white Jewish men writing black female roles, which is why my newest goal is to become the go-to lyricist for Broadway. That's
I love this.
That's my newest goal.
I love this.
Yeah. The Broadway show I'm doing when it hits Broadway is The Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also working on A Joyful Noise, the movie with Keke Palmer and Queen Latifah and Dolly Parton. That's going to become a Broadway musical. And I'm also working with Debbie Allen and Lena Waithe.
She's amazing. They're both amazing.
They're both incredible.
Yeah.
They're just ridiculous. And as a team, they're like a powerhouses.
Yeah.
So we're working on a project called Polly. It's the Pollyanna story.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But the thing is, I can be working on all these at the same time because nothing is ever happening at the same time on Broadway. Rarely. I've been doing this for 8 years now.
It's amazing.
Yeah. But The Pursuit of Happiness is the one that I'm seriously passionate about. But my part, it's out of my hands right now because all the lyrics are done. It's all about raising funds and getting the right producers. So hopefully.
And your memoir.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I can write a story now.
Yeah.
I can tell the story.
Incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, you have a lot of good stories to tell. I mean, we've been
do.
sitting here an hour and we could go on and on and on and on. So you don't know who you'd have dinner with?
There's no one that I'm that enamored with on earth. I would like to knit with her. And we can eat while we knit.
Say that.
But I would like to knit
with Michelle Obama.
There you go.
And you can eat.
Yeah, we'll have lunch.
Yeah, I would love to have dinner with Michelle Obama. You've been in a lot of huge rooms with a lot of huge people.
Yes, ma'am.
You are so down to earth. You are so grounded. And you are just very, you feel the energy. Like how have you kept all your authenticity since all of this?
Well, I like the fact that I don't change depending on who's in the room. And that was brought to the forefront when I was on tour with MJ. I would watch people change when he came on set, and they'd be all different and quiet and sweet and nothing like they were when he was off. But my shit did not change. I still spoke at the same volume. I still said the same things. In fact, when Michael introduced me to his sister, LaToya, she told me a year or two after the fact that Michael brought me into the kitchen. He said, "Be careful with this one. She's liable to say anything." So I am me through and through.
Yes, you
I don't
are.
like changing to code switching. I'm not good at code switching.
Wow.
I am who I am.
Yeah,
it is
I
what
love
it
that.
is.
You know, it's the same thing too that I see with all of our clients. You know, all their teams, managers, business managers, everybody. And to agents, and I'm the same person.
Right.
On the phone, in person,
Right.
whatever. And I'm like, people are just different. Like
That's a tribute to you too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same.
There you
What's
go.
the worst thing that could happen to me? I get fired? It's not that bad.
And that might be your transition to what you're supposed to be doing instead
Right.
of whatever you got
I
fired
can tell you,
from.
there's a couple times I got fired where I was like, thank you, God.
See? See?
It's like, wow. And then also, just like how you are very energetic, and you are just have so much energy. And you've been doing this decades and decades, and you still keep reinventing your.
You have to, though.
Yes.
I can't be.
Yeah.
I couldn't be an artist, so I decided to write a song, and so the songwriting took me to another. I loved the fact that I could act. But I hated the hours. Girl, please. I would hated the hours. I would like doing TV, hated the fucking hours. And then I would get a script, and then I'd spend all night learning that script, go to the set the next day. The writers had completely rewritten the whole. That used to make me so mad.
Yeah,
because
that
I
would
hate
make me
wasting
crazy.
time.
Yeah.
Like I said to myself, I could have been knitting all night instead of learning this shit. So
Crazy.
yeah, so I knew I had to do something that I really liked where it was going, and I could choose my own hours, and I could produce. I'm very self-motivated, so I could produce what I needed to produce. I'm good at hitting deadlines. So that part worked for me. And if I see something that I'm going to go for it. If I see it, and if I see that I can get it, or even if I don't think I can, I'm going to go for it anyway.
Well, I love that.
Yeah.
You know, Fanny Shakur used to tell me there's three things in life, three lessons. You can either give in, or give it all you got.
Give up, give in.
Yeah, give up, give in,
Oh,
or give it all you got. Yep,
Hey.
give up, give in, give it all you got. But listen, I thank you for your legacy. I thank you for your music. I thank you that you picked me to be your lawyer.
I thank you for your expertise.
Oh
bitch.
my God. And girl, thank you for the Stiletto Room theme song. Stiletto.
I love it. But to me, one of my favorite words is the word bitch.
I love that
I'm gonna just
word.
leave you with this. To me, bitch stands for beautiful or bold, intelligent or interesting, talented, tenacious, charismatic or charming, human. I'm the last bitch, okay? And so are you.
Yes, bitch! You heard it here on the Stiletto Room. Siedah Garrett, the legend. Thank you. I love you.
Love you, Black.
Love you, Black. Can I say that?
My stilettos